Hey YouTube, welcome back to UniX DBS, and today we're going to actually dive into the pre-release Super Saiyan God Vegeta leader. There's been a lot of buzz about this, partially due to errata, partially due to just, his effects possibly opening up a whole bunch of cards that couldn't be used in this color, or actually effectively even in their own color, let's be real. So I'm actually very, very excited to go over it. Now, just wanted to put this out there, the normal things. If you haven't been to the official group, try checking it out, because this is where you get all the announcements and spoilers. If you haven't been to the main discussion group, try looking that up, because that's where most of the discussion happens. You also have Universe X, which is my personal Facebook group for this channel, as well as Universe X, the Discord. You can follow me on various pieces of social media, and you can also check me out on UniXDB, which is going to be my gaming channel. I'm actually going to do a legend summoning video. It's either going to be up by the time you watch this or up after you watch this, depending on whether I release this video the night before Christmas Eve late or Christmas Eve morning. So we'll see about it. Now, the last thing I want to do is if you're looking for that perfect gift and you're running a little late on Christmas, try looking up TCGMetalZ. They make a whole bunch of metal leader cards and they're amazing, and you can use the code UNIX, that's UNIX, to get 10% off your entire purchase. Now, moving into this leader, I'm going to read its leader effects first, and then I'm going to do that very, very quickly because we've already broken down this leader, at least in the previous video about the first spoiler video, but I wanted to dive into his options so far before we see more cards. His front side, put it up on screen. Vegeta, when this card attacks, draw one card. Activate battle. Once per turn, choose up to one red or blue sand card in your hand, discard it. Then you look up to the top 3 cards of your deck, add up to one Son Goku BR, Vegeta BR, or Vegeta BR card amongst them to your hand, then place the remaining cards on the top of your deck in any order. Awaken. When your life is at 4 or less, or you have 4 or more energy, you may draw one card, switch up to one of your energy to active mode, flip this card over. Okay. The controversy with this card is that because it says up to one red or blue sand, people are wondering if you can just choose 0 as that up to, and then look at the top 3. I'm not going to speak on this until we get the official set drop, because they really don't do effects like this. Just looking at Bandai's design, it doesn't make sense for the effect to be like it reads. Now, the way it reads, yes, you should be able to choose 0, but I highly doubt that Bandai is going to let this fly without just putting an errata on it. It's just, it flies in the face of all of the other ways that Bandai tends to print effects like this. Now, its backside effect, however, is SSG Vegeta Crimson Warrior. Permanent red Gogeta BR cards in your hand gain the following skill. Union Fusion for red, blue, 2 colorless, so it's total 4. Son Goku BR and Vegeta BR. Auto, when this card attacks, draw one card. Auto, once per turn, when you play a Gogeta BR card, draw one card, then switch up to one of your red, blue multicolor energy to active mode at the end of the turn. So this is actually going to be really cool. He can cheat in red Gogeta cards, and then on top of cheating in red Gogeta cards, you're going to be able to open up a multicolored energy to make sure that you can do your plays. And with blue, one open energy is a lot. Unless yellow forcibly taps it down, and you don't have Sparking D magic, which this deck should accomplish pretty easily because it's fused. You should be, and it's a Scarred effect on the front side, you should be able to constantly be able to have access to Sparking D magic. So we're gonna go look at some of the cards, because I wanted to break this down and see how much of this card base could actually be used currently in the game. So the first ones I wanted to talk about are the in-game cards, okay? I want to blatantly say I think the best card you can use, best red Gogeta's effect you can get off, is probably SSB Vegeta Fusion Onslaught. For you guys that don't know, you can EX evolve this on top of a Gogeta with 6 costs by discarding 2 red cards from your hand, and then it has double strike. It's a 35k, so it can go into the Broly secret rare. It's pretty cool. But this card cannot be KO'd and can attack battle cards in active mode. 2 autos. If a card, or when a card evolves into this card, if there are no battle cards in play in your opponent's battle area, choose up to 2 cards in your opponent's life, place them into their drop area, and then you can't play this Gogeta for the duration of the turn. Now, its other auto is when this card attacks a battle card, switch this card to active mode. So this is actually really, really, really cool. This is probably the de facto boss card so far of this archetype. Now, the other card that can actually work would be SSG Vegeta, Fusion's Pinnacle. Sorry, little doggy upstairs. And Fusion's Pinnacle is a card that you can play it for 1 red on top of a Gogeta BR with an energy cost of 6. And it has triple strike and sparking 10. When a card evolves into this card, your opponent can't activate skills in their battle cards for the duration of the turn. So this is kind of just like a really cool like skill drain if you guys played Yu-Gi-Oh! It doesn't affect things in hand like food, but it does affect everything on board, and it's triple strike and a 30k, so that could potentially end the game right there. Now, both of them require you to have a 6-drop Gogeta to evolve onto. And there are going to be 2 different 6-drop Vegetas, but only one of them is going to be the one you want to use, because one of them you want to keep there until the end of your turn. Now, there is one of these. Let's see, let me find this one. So one of them is a Gogeta Unparalleled Fusion Warrior, which you cannot use because it requires a red leader. And this means the only choice that you can bring out for the most part is the other SR and SPR, SSG Vegeta Technique Unleashed. He also has an effect when you evolve onto him, so we're gonna have to ignore that because it's gonna be the one that I think you should be cheating out at base. When this card or one of your opponent's cards attacks, you may choose one of your opponent's cards and minus 20k for the battle, negate this skill for the turn. So, I actually really do like this because you should be able to bring this guy out, and if your opponent only has 1 card on board and it's beneath 20k, you can swing at it, and this can't be KO'd, but you can swing at it. Swing at your opponent's leader card for double strike, minus their card for 20k, kill it, and then discard 2 red cards, EX evolve into Fusion Onslaught, and burn your opponent for 2. So those would be the 2 boss cards, I would say. Fusion Onslaught and Fusion's Pinnacle, and then you would use Technique Unleashed to evolve up into those 2. You cheated Technique Unleashed, and then you evolve into one of those 2 for your main push plays so far before we see any sort of new cards. Now, as for intermediate targets, I have 2, because there's 2 cards that scream out, and believe me, I've gone through these like cards. I've opened up 6 tabs. These tabs were red Gogeta BRs, blue Gogeta BRs, Vaku BRs, Goku BRs, Vegeta BRs, and then all the red blue cards. And I've looked through all of them to look at which effects work and don't work, which effects can even be activated on a blue leader or a non-blue Gogeta leader, things like that. So I've done my homework for this one. So please just cut me a little slack. There are 2 setup cards, and I feel like one of them is better when you awaken, or before awaken, and one of them is specifically better for after you awaken, because it's the only time you can put it in. So the one that is better for pre-awakening is Vacuum Might in the Making from the Anniversary box. Blocker Union Fusion 2. You draw 2 cards, and then you use, of course, a Son Goku BR and a Vegeta BR. If your leader card is a blue sand, when this card is removed from your battle area by a skill or KO'd, you may add 1 card from your life to your to your hand, and then play up to 1 Gogeta Pursuit of Power from your deck with 3 markers on it, and then shuffle your deck if you look through it. Okay. So, that last effect is probably going to be highly irrelevant. You could run it in this deck, could not. However, the part that I'm really liking is the fact that we'll get to plays later, but when you play this card, depending on what fusion fodder you use, you're going to be able to draw 2 cards and then take 2 life, which is a great play. You're going to go up a total of 2 cards. You gained 4 cards, but you lost a fair amount of cards. Well, actually, sorry, you lost 3 cards, and you're going to gain 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a +1 in the entire exchange if you use, Godly Aura, which we'll get to later. But this card is going to allow you to force yourself to self-awaken. It's going to allow you to awaken on turn 3. If they somehow do enough damage to you, then maybe turn 2, but it really depends. I mean, seeing as that this leader gets so much better when he flips over, I'm not really assuming your opponent's going to try to give you the awakening. But the other card that I feel like is the intermediate card is going to be SS Gogeta All Out Assault. This is the red-blue Gogeta from the Magnificent Collection Fusion Hero. And this guy has Barrier, and the important part, since you're cheating him in, not bringing him in by his own effect, auto, at the end of your turn, place up to 2 cards from the top of your deck into your energy. Then negate this skill for the duration of the game. This is why I don't think this is the premier one you should put out, because if you put him out as your 6-drop to evolve into, you're not going to get that auto effect. Because if I'm not mistaken, this is at the end of your turn, place 2 cards. Let's see. I might actually be wrong on that because he might leave an auto that's pending. He might come in, but it says at the end of your turn. So I would like to think this activates at the end of your turn, in which case you'd want to bring in one of the other 6 drops and just leave this guy. If it does kind of come into play and trigger, I'm sorry, it's a little late. If it does do that, then yeah, you could bring him in, have that pending auto, evolve on top of him, and then have it still happen. But I just want to be on the safe side. So past those 2, now I'm going to get to the fusion fodder. Fusion fodder is pretty tight because there's only really 2 cards that really work in either situation. And with those, it's actually Godly Aura for both Goku and Vegeta. More Goku though, because when you fuse with Goku, he's going to add a card from your life to your hand. And then Vegeta is going to search top 7 for a Vegeta BR. I think it's top 7, or is it just go in your deck? Yeah, he's going to look at the top 7 for Vegeta BR, and you have to discard a card if you took one. But then the other ones are actually Might in the Making, because Vegeta Might in the Making is a counterplay, but when he comes in, he can pop a Veku card, a blue Veku card, which is going to be the Veku you just played. The Goku Might in the Making, though, he is actually going to come in and do a little bit of different razzle dazzle when it comes to what he's going to be played. So he's going to come in, and if your leader card is a blue Saiyan, when this card in your hand is placed in the drop area by Union Fusion skill, switch one of your energy to active mode. So you have one Goku that awakens, and one Goku that can recur energy at the end of the turn. And this is really cool. Now, using these plays, you're going to get to a point where fusing with the Godly Aura Goku at the beginning is what you want to do. But in the end, you know, Union fusing using Goku Godly Aura is going to be, or not Goku Godly Aura, Might in the Making is going to be amazing, because you're going to untap one multicolor for Vegeta's effect, and you're going to untap one like energy with this Goku's effect. So you're going to untap 2 at the end of the turn just for doing what you were going to do anyway. And I think that's actually really, really neat. Combined with the other Gogeta, the red-blue one, you could add 2 energy and then untap 2 energy, and that's awesome. So we've got some options. We've definitely got some options. My conclusion, though, is that until we get more cards, this leader is kind of not dead in the water, but it's definitely not optimal. It's clunky. There's not a lot of multicolor cards that really gel with this. It's kind of weird. So I think that we're hopefully we either get some multicolor cards in this set, maybe a spare red card, or maybe some TP that we can use in order to help juice the deck, because it needs just a little bit more. Now, if you're gonna ask me, just give me my 2 cents. 2 cards that would really help out this deck is if we got a fat Veku and a skinny Veku that both only had to have the stipulation of blue Saiyan leader. Maybe even blue Vegeta, because you don't want them just to be used in, if they say blue Saiyan leader, you can just put them in the blue Gogeta deck, and that's better used because blue Gogeta has more options. So maybe just have them leader locked to this blue Vegeta, and make them both multicolor, blue-red, so you have better charge options for this multicolor untap effect, and have one of those, have Fat Veku ramp you, maybe Union Fusion for 2, have him ramp you 1 off the top of your deck, and maybe have the other one be a search effect. One's consistency, one's ramp. At least that way on turn 2, you can use the ramp effect of that Veku, and then on turn 3, you can charge, you're at 4, you can now awaken. I think that's pretty neat. I think that's actually pretty neat. So yeah, let me know what you guys think this deck needs. Let me know how you feel about it currently. But I kid you not, I've looked through all of these cards to get to these conclusions, and it's a sizable amount of cards. So if there's anything I missed, let me know. But hey, happy just to make content, and I will see you guys next time you decide to join Universe X.